Quality men don't want the village bicycle. Fair enough. But quality women don't want the county pogo stick. How true is this statement? There is a misconception in our modern times that promiscuity is only bad if women do it. And a lot of men are convinced and are told that women find it attractive when a man sleeps around and has a lot of sexual experience. That's going to make him a very attractive suitor as a husband or a father. But the reality is, when you ask quality women what they think about promiscuity, they actually come to the same conclusions that us men have about promiscuous women. It is repulsive, disgusting, and they want nothing to do with such people. So today I'm going to break this down and I'm going to cover a few posts I found on Twitter about this topic and give some more general insight on why sleeping around is bad for both men and women, and more specifically in this case we're talking about the men. It's quite sad to admit, but due to feminism, the porn industry, modern dating coaches, pickup artists, red pill manosphere, men are taught that hooking up, sleeping around, one night stands are almost a rite of passage. It is something that they need to try out to truly be a man. But how does hooking up, how does using a woman for casual sex make you more masculine? How does it make you more honorable or trustworthy? How does it prepare you to be a husband or a father? It doesn't. So let's start with the first post I found on Twitter, which I thought I would share with all of you. And it's this young lady here, Adrienne, and she says, quality men don't want the village bicycle. Fair. But quality women don't want the county pogo stick. Now, it is very common within men. We always warn other guys if we find out that that girl is the town slut. Excuse my French. It's what people do, right? Hey, that guy over there, he steals from all the shops. Lock your doors, right? Pattern recognition, basic trait of IQ, if it's high enough. And within those patterns, quality men recognize the signs and indicators of women that are, you could say, village bicycles, used and pumped and dumped. And they warn other men. But what would be a surprise to most modern men is good women, they let other ladies know to stay away from certain men who have tried to sleep with them. Quality women do not want the county pogo stick. Any good woman that values sexual purity does not want a man who slept with other women. As long as she finds you handsome and she knows you're hot, you could get some other girl if you wanted to, but you have enough self-control to not do that, that's going to make her respect you. Because sleeping around doesn't show anyone that you're confident. All it shows is you lack self-control. Because if you're sleeping around enough, you're not getting 9s and 10s. You're getting average, sometimes even unattractive women who are going to be immoral, promiscuous, and just as screwed up as you. Because you attract what you are by what you're doing. So you lack self-control. You have no standards for yourself. You lack self-respect. You lack integrity, and you have low self-esteem. And those are the consequences and the side effects of sleeping around. In a nutshell. So let's go through some of the comments to see what people have to say. One of them says, I really think one of the silliest red pill theories is that women want a man with experience. I'm not a woman, but I really don't think quality women find anything attractive about a man with a high body count. A man with no control over his lust has no aura. Exactly. I mean, ask yourself as a man, you have a beautiful daughter in the future, right? And she has an option between two men. Both men are just as handsome. They're doing just as well financially. The only difference is one of them is a virgin just like your daughter, and the other one has slept with 100 women. They ain't going to be 100 relationships. We know they're mostly going to be hookups or one-night stands. Which quality of man would you want to take your daughter's hand in marriage? Which quality of man do you entrust to take care and love and honor your daughter and be a good example for your future grandchildren? I know who I'm going to pick. The guy who's just as sexually pure as my daughter. So some of you guys are so brainwashed by this idea that, oh, it's not true, men like women who sleep around. I've asked some guys that question, and some of them have told me, well, as long as she's happy, it's a load of BS. You obviously want a woman that's clean and is going to be a good example for your future children, right? Guys, women want the same thing. Good women want a man who's a good example. And the funny thing is, often enough, guys who live this lifestyle are always the ones to complain that you can't find good women. Okay, what quality of women are you interacting with? And then what quality of man are you? Because you get what you are. There's no two ways around it. If you keep attracting the wrong sort of woman, you might have a knowledge gap, which is true. But if you go past a certain age and you've gone through enough of that experience and that hasn't got you to turn from your ways, then you're just deep in your sin. There's one guy here saying that, oh, women love a guy who doesn't know what he's doing. It's a massive turn on, right? He's making a mockery. Right? Oh yeah, as if, sure. Why would a woman want a guy who doesn't know how to turn her on? But what these guys fail to understand is all of that sexual experience hasn't made him a better lover, isn't going to make him a more caring man, a better communicator. It's going to make him more jaded. He's going to have more women to compare to from the past, just like a promiscuous woman. He's going to have some women from his past that he gravely misses and wish he could get back with. He could have STIs. He could have other emotional problems regarding bonding, because again, he's stuck in the past. He's going to struggle with shame and guilt, and he's going to have conditioned himself to see women as just something physical, nothing emotional, no connection, no love. So how exactly is that more sexually experienced man going to be a better lover, better husband, better father? He isn't. He's going to be a more selfish, more broken and insecure man. Which is why if both the man and a woman have a similar sexual history, they will mesh better. There's a reason why you're both supposed to start off as unexperienced, commit to each other for life, experience each other and only each other, and then grow in love over time. And unfortunately, our society's turned sex into this open parade. But intimacy, anybody who has high IQ knows this. Intimacy happens behind closed doors between a man and a woman that are married and love each other. And it's private. End of story. Publicizing and showcasing sexual acts and intimacy to the public is degenerate. And it degrades what would be a sacred, private, intimate act between a man and a woman that love each other. So the very idea that by you sleeping around with someone you do not care about or love gives you good experience, makes you a better lover, it goes completely against love. You might be a better fornicator. You might know a few tips and a few positions, but you're not going to know how to love better. That's reality. But again, a lot of guys, modern men lack accountability and they get upset when they hear this stuff. But again, quality women have their preference too, gentlemen. There's no two ways around it. And there's another post of a woman on Twitter. This one is quite interesting. And she says, a man's body count matters too. Good women don't want men whose dating history is a graveyard of convenient relationships and lustful encounters. It's incredibly unattractive and activates deep insecurities within us. I agree 100%, but it's the same for us men. If you are dating a girl and she tells you how many guys she slept with, and it's way higher than what you have been with. Let's say you've been with 2 women, and that you're talking to a girl and she's like, yeah, I've slept with 30 men. You're instantly going to feel sick. Your stomach will churn. You'll lose respect for her like that. How could she share her body with so many men? It's sad to say, it is heartbreaking. But it's unattractive and it will bring out insecurities and doubts and worries about her integrity. That's a human reaction. If someone tells you, yeah, I've been in prison for like 10 assaults, you're not going to probably feel safe around that person. I mean, it's common sense, right? There's a reason why they call it a body count. A body count comes from the military term. How many people you've killed in a gunfight, in a battle. Oh, I've killed 10 people. You have a 10 body count. The reason why we call it that in sexual terms is because sex is sacred. And giving your body to someone else, you lose a piece of yourself that you never get back. And you've given that to someone else forever. That's why God says in Scripture, what God has joined together, let no man put asunder, let no man separate. Every time you build a connection and you rip that off, you're ungluing yourself from intimacy. You're desensitizing yourself to love and connection. You become a more selfish, more broken shell. Let's see what the comments have to say. One woman says, my ex wanted me, a virgin, which I am, but he wouldn't share his side of the body count convo. Already a red flag. And that part, along with him lusting after women on social media, made me so deeply insecure in this area. So again, she's honest enough to say, I'm virgin. Why isn't he sharing the body count? The same reason a high body count woman ain't going to share it with you from the beginning. Because she's ashamed. This is the reality. Let's continue on with a few more questions here. So there's another comment here of a woman called Vasilisa saying, someone with a history littered with forever girlfriends, relationships of convenience with women he was apathetic towards or not that into, would be even worse than someone with a history of straightforwardly lustful encounters. True to a certain degree, both are painful. So it's not just about you hooking up, gentlemen, or I'm having one night stands. If you're jumping from girlfriend to girlfriend and you're being sexually intimate and you're bonding with them, breaking that apart is going to hurt, probably even worse, emotionally speaking. Okay? And it's some woman said it's good, all humans should avoid whores, lack of self-control is a sign. Yeah. Heaven forbid we point that out to men. How many times I've said it, both goes both ways, and they refuse to consider it. A lot of guys are hypocrites and they don't like hearing that. Modesty and self-constraint is required by both women and men. Temperance is a virtue we must all strive and renew in these lustful days. 100%. Another woman, based, man whores are just as messed up in the brain. Absolutely. And all the studies of hooking up and sleeping around are showing us the same data nowadays. Men who sleep around are having the same effects emotionally as women. Yes, and men who sleep around are more likely to have diseases and kids that they have fathered. At least women know if they're the mother. Men can run around and make babies all over the place. Further, a man who treats sex casually will just see you as another notch on his bedpost. Very well said. And I really highly encourage the men watching. Go speak to quality women. And you'll have a completely different experience than dealing with the same trash women you're dealing with, obviously. Got to be very careful. This is an interesting one, okay. Let's see what this guy has to say. He says, gentlemen, do not listen to what some say, watch what women react to. This is obviously cap. If I was a virgin and I openly told women that I was a virgin or haven't been with many women, I'm never getting laid. So his frame of mind is already hooking up. He doesn't care about love, connection. Women want men with experience, including sexually and in every other realm. And men want women without experience. Sex is the backbone to all relationships, and if a man can't F his girl properly, then she'll find someone who can. Don't buy into this garbage, gentlemen, it's all lies. Just watch what women react to. If you have chemistry and she finds you attractive, you'll have good intimacy. But this is cap. He said, I've never seen a woman attracted to a man who's a virgin who hasn't been with many women. Remember that pre-selection is a huge attraction trigger. They might pre-select your values and look at your social life to make sure you're not like a weirdo or you're like a sociopath on the fringe of society. Women want to see that you're a normal guy who's safe and trustworthy. But if you're hot, if she thinks you're a beautiful, handsome man, that's the first step in. The same for us guys. If you don't think she's a beautiful, you're not going to start vetting her. That's pre-selection. And having been with many women, or even better, currently seeing many women simultaneously signals that. So obviously he's the type of guy who sleeps around. So what quality of woman does he deal with? Women that are just like him. Delusional. Delusional. So someone responds, why would you want to be with a woman who frames a lack of experience as a bad thing? If they do that, they're likely just looking for an F-buddy rather than a genuine relationship. Don't bother. Someone else says, oh, shut up, you're wrong, insecure and loud. Oh, but women want men with experience sexually and in every realm, and men want women without experience. So what he's saying is, so either these men are using some women for experience and tossing them aside, and we should accept that, or these men are sleeping with each other. But then a woman left a very good comment at the end. No, we don't want slutty men. I'd love to find a virgin guy. And this is the thing, some of you are not interacting with quality women, so you don't know what they have to say. So again, it brings up some interesting points, and sexual promiscuity is bad for both men and women. I actually made a video about this recently, titled Why You Need to Know a Body Count. Again, I'm going to link this down below. But in a nutshell, I'm just going to go through this so you can see it from, even though it's written for men, so you can see it from a woman's angle, because it goes both ways. Why is knowing body count important? Number one, because of health and safety. STIs. Some are irreversible and some can cause fertility. If the woman you're dealing with has any sense of IQ and intelligence and self-respect, self-preservation, and she's thinking long-term about her life, she's going to want to know. Number two, compatibility. Sexual history is going to reflect on your values, your beliefs, and how you view sex. Are you seeing it through the lens of a porn addict and bitter incel? Or do you believe in love, connection, and monogamy? What's your self-esteem like? Maybe you have a history of cheating. Maybe you don't. Maybe you have a history of one-night stands. Maybe you don't. But she wants to know, to gain insight into who you are. To understand expectations. Understanding each other's level of experience can help manage your expectations and ensure both of you are comfortable and feel respected. For example, do you want to be with a woman who'd been with 10 or 100 men when you were a virgin? Of course not. You can't even relate or begin to see things the same way. So, which is why I always say you're better off with someone from a similar past to you. If you have a 2 body count, you're probably going to match well with someone who has a 2 or 1 or a 3 within that range. If you're somebody who has double digits, you're probably going to get on well with a woman who has double digits, because the women who have less than you or a virgin are going to be repulsed by you, or it'll start to bother them over time. Very rarely do different sexual histories create for 2 people that are sexually compatible. Next is for trust and transparency. Building trust. Being open about your sexual history, it gives you the opportunity to at least be honest with each other. You can either accept each other or walk away at the beginning when you have no feelings attached. You're just better off being genuine from the get-go. And that's why a lot of men will hide their body count. Oh, she doesn't need to know. I'm going to be mysterious. And you can play that game. You can. But a woman who has values is going to keep digging. She's going to keep asking until you give her some type of insight. And she'll make a decision once she finds out. And ultimately, it's about avoiding surprises. Not having knowledge of each other's past can... So, when it comes to past relationships, and you don't want to have surprises. And quite frankly, people who have a track record of a lot of sexual partners, especially like single parents who have had children with someone from their past, or people who have dealt with lots of hookups on one-night stands, sometimes those people from their past can try and get back in touch with them, or they have some type of lingering connection. They haven't tied up loose ends from their past that will come back into their present. And if they're still close to people from their past, then they might not fully bond with you. And it can cause a love triangle and other problems. So knowing someone's body count, man or woman, gives you a lot of insight into what you can expect moving forward with them. And I have a whole video on this, which I will link down below. And I also have another video about men having high body counts, which I'm going to also link down below. And just to show you, there's a very interesting comment because, well, there's quite a few interesting comments. And it's from a woman. This one I wanted to share with you all. And she says, I'm so happy to know that there are men out here being honest with other men about this. As a young woman growing up, casual stuff never made sense to me. And I can never understand why people didn't see it as something to be taken seriously or something extremely intimate. I always thought red pill men were hypocrites for not being honest about the effects of hookup culture on men like they do with women. Do not believe these jaded red pill guys. Traditional women do find men who have sexual discipline and self-control very attractive. How are you going to be the head of your household and lead your family if you cannot lead your penis in the right direction? You can't unvirgin women. You can't. And virgin women like me who want husbands and families do not deserve or want the baggage of all your bodies either. There is nothing special about being number 58 in line. I couldn't agree more with Christian when he says promiscuous people deserve each other. You don't get to roll around in the dirt, encourage other men to do the same, and then decide you want something pristine and clean when you're tired of the trash. You do not deserve it and you didn't work for it. Leave us for the men that aren't sheep being led around by foolish men instead of God. And I just, very well said, right? And there's a bitter guy there saying virgins like me. And it's like, yeah, well, you're a damaged guy, right? Obviously. And I had a lot of good comments on this video. And a lot of them were from women that gave good insight. And I just think this stuff, man, is really important. And if you're a young guy watching and you've been told there's peer pressure, people are pushing you down this path, don't. Because your future wife will be grateful for you being sexually pure and clean and waiting for her. It's really attractive to a woman, as she said, that one good woman said, when you have self-control. It shows that you love yourself and you respect yourself. There's nothing impressive about sleeping around with other easy women. Good women with standards see you the same way us men see promiscuous women. Not relationship or wife, husband material. So that's my take on this. I'll link the Twitter post down below if you want to read through it yourself. There's a lot of stuff I didn't cover there, obviously. But there's a lot of information that I think you can go through. And of course, I'm going to link those YouTube videos as well down below. And of course, my relationship community, which if you would like to sign up and join and be a part of it, I'll leave the link down below as well. With that said, I'd love to hear your thoughts from this topic down below and what you'd like to see out of the channel moving forward. With that said, hope you'll have a wonderful day. God bless all of you and your families, and I'll see you all in the next one. And remember, quality women don't want the county pogo stick.